The hologram of a Lone Star flickers across the massive high-definition screen that stretches from one 20-yard line to the other, a high-tech altar in a football cathedral that cost nearly $2 billion to build. Below it, standing amidst the pristine turf of AT&T Stadium, Jerry Jones surveys his kingdom. At 82 years old, the owner and general manager of the Dallas Cowboys remains the central figure in what has become the most perplexing, frustrating, and utterly captivating story in American sports. He built a palace fit for football gods, yet his team has not so much as appeared in a conference championship game in nearly 3 decades. This is the central paradox of the Dallas Cowboys, a franchise simultaneously representing the pinnacle of sporting ambition and the depths of unfulfilled promise. They are not merely a football team. They are a cultural institution, a billion-dollar brand, and America's greatest sporting letdown. The shadow of what once was looms over every game, every season, every promise of a return to glory. Since last hoisting the Lombardi Trophy in 1996, the Cowboys have become masters of the spectacular disappointment, offering just enough hope to make the inevitable failure sting that much more. They are the franchise that understands the theater of sports better than any other, turning the annual journey from off-season champions to January casualties into a high-drama production that captivates a nation. The star on the helmet shines as brightly as ever, but it illuminates a path that consistently leads to the same destination: heartbreak. This is not a story of mere losing. This is a story of greatness, achieved and then relentlessly pursued but never recaptured, of a kingdom that built the most magnificent castle in the land but forgot how to defend its walls. To comprehend the magnitude of the fall, one must first appreciate the dizzying heights from which the Cowboys fell. The 1990s Cowboys were not just a football team. They were a force of nature. Under the leadership of Jimmy Johnson and later Barry Switzer, with the legendary trio of Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin forming the offensive core, the Cowboys captured 3 Super Bowl titles in 4 years, from 1992 to 1995. They didn't just win. They dominated, combining revolutionary offensive schemes with brutal defensive prowess. They became America's team, a moniker that transcended sports to represent something larger: the embodiment of excellence, swagger, and inevitable victory. The star on the helmet became a symbol of royalty in the NFL landscape, a crown worn with the certainty of champions. The core of those 1990s Cowboys was forged in struggle before they ascended to greatness. As Hall of Fame receiver Michael Irvin recalled, "We didn't get good all of a sudden. We were poor, and we got good gradually, and we made it great for a while, because I suffered through the 3-13 and the 1-15. We never had any issue, because we knew we all started at the 1-15 and the 3-13 together. We grew into that. So it wasn't like somebody handed us. We grew that to what it was. And we remember that." This humble beginning made the subsequent dynasty feel earned, legitimate, and built to last. The Cowboys of the 1990s didn't just win championships. They built a standard of excellence that would define the franchise for generations to come, creating a legacy that would become both inspiration and burden for those who followed. Jerry Jones, who purchased the team in 1989, understood something fundamental about sports that others missed. Football wasn't just a game. It was entertainment. It was theater. It was a story waiting to be told. He leveraged this insight to build the Cowboys into a global brand worth billions. The construction of AT&T Stadium, with its massive video board, retractable roof, and capacity for over 100,000 fans, wasn't just about building a venue for football games. It was about creating a monument to the Cowboys' mythology. Yet, even as the business grew exponentially, the on-field product began its slow, perplexing decline. The very elements that built the legend, the larger-than-life owner, the intense national spotlight, the America's team expectations would become the very forces that made sustaining excellence so elusive. The decline did not happen overnight. It was a slow bleed of near misses, heartbreaking collapses, and spectacular January failures that transformed America's team into America's tease. The turning point wasn't a single moment, but a pattern, a relentless, almost ritualistic cycle of building hope, only to snatch it away at the precise moment when glory seemed within reach. Since their last Super Bowl victory in the 1995 season, the Cowboys have appeared in 18 playoff games, none of which have resulted in an NFC Championship game appearance. This isn't merely a drought. It's a historical anomaly for a franchise of this stature, making the Cowboys the holders of the longest NFC Championship game drought in NFL history. The specific failures are etched in the memory of every Cowboys fan, each one more creatively heartbreaking than the last. There was Tony Romo's botched field goal hold against the Seattle Seahawks in the 2006 playoffs, a play that unfairly branded an otherwise excellent quarterback as a choke artist and began the narrative of the Cowboys as a team that could win when it mattered. There were the consecutive playoff losses to the Green Bay Packers, the Des Courtet game in 2014, followed by another defeat in 2016, where controversial officiating and last-minute heroics from Aaron Rodgers reinforced the sense that football gods had turned against the star. More recently, there was the 2022 divisional round loss to the San Francisco 49ers, where the Cowboys' season ended with a baffling, almost symbolic final play that saw them fail to get a snap off in time. Perhaps what makes the Cowboys' letdown so compelling is not just the losing, but the manner in which they lose. They are never truly bad enough to bottom out. They consistently field competitive teams, win division titles, and make the playoffs. Under quarterback Dak Prescott, the Cowboys have won 12 games in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 1994-95. Yet when the stakes are highest, when the margin between legend and letdown is thinnest, they consistently find new ways to fall short. As former coach Mike McCarthy stated after yet playoff disappointment, just didn't quite do enough. This phrase could serve as the epitaph for the entire modern Cowboys era: ways good, never quite good enough, forever on the precipice of greatness, but unable to take the final step. The question that has haunted the NFL for nearly 3 decades is simple, yet profound: why? How could a franchise with every conceivable advantage in limited resources, national following, legendary brand fail so consistently to recapture its former glory? The answers are complex and multifaceted, rooted in organizational structure, psychological pressure, and the unique burden of the Cowboys' own legacy. At the center of it all stands Jerry Jones, both the architect of the modern Cowboys and perhaps the primary obstacle to their return to glory. Jones is a fascinating contradiction: a visionary businessman who transformed the NFL's economic landscape, yet a general manager whose meddling and loyalty to certain players has often hampered football operations. His omnipresence in the organization creates a unique dynamic where football decisions can sometimes be influenced by marketing considerations or personal relationships. As one of the few owner-GMs in the league, Jones operates with unprecedented control, creating a structure where conventional football wisdom often takes a back seat to his instincts and convictions. The weight of expectation itself becomes a psychological burden for players wearing the star. As Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman noted, "The current players are further removed from our era than I was from Staubach's era." Yet, unlike Aikman's generation, today's Cowboys must operate under the relentless magnification of social media and 24-hour sports networks, where every misstep becomes a national narrative. Safety Jaron Kearse acknowledged this unique pressure. "It's cool more people watch us. The star, but we still have the same job, but performing that job under the brightest spotlight in sports, with the ghosts of Staubach, Aikman, and Smith watching from the Ring of Honor, creates a psychological burden that few franchises can comprehend, let alone manage." Michael Irvin perhaps identified the core issue when he reframed the burden as a potential blessing. "It's the greatest burden in the world." What do you mean, is there a burden? It's the greatest burden in the world, because you know everybody is going to give an eyeball to you some kind of way. Now, what are you prepared to do with them eyeballs? Are you willing to let them see you sink, or are you willing to take that opportunity and maximize it? The modern Cowboys have consistently failed to maximize those moments, suggesting a fundamental flaw not in talent, but in temperament and inability to thrive when the entire football world is watching. The organizational culture under Jones has often prioritized spectacle over substance, the sizzle over the steak. While other successful franchises like New England, Pittsburgh, and Kansas City operated with methodical, process-oriented approaches, the Cowboys have embraced drama and spectacle, becoming a year-round reality show where hard decisions are sometimes delayed for sentimental reasons or marketing considerations. This culture has produced a team that is always interesting but rarely ultimate successful, the exact definition of a letdown. What does it mean to be America's greatest letdown? It means that nearly 3 decades after their last championship, the Dallas Cowboys remain the most valuable sports franchise in the world, a testament to Jerry Jones' business genius and the enduring power of their brand. It means that every season begins with hope and ends with familiar disappointment, yet the fans keep returning, the television ratings keep soaring, and the star continues to shine brightly in the cultural firmament. The Cowboys have perfected the art of the almost. They are always almost good enough. Almost champions. almost back to where they belong. The historical context of their failure is almost incomprehensible. Since the Cowboys' last NFC Championship game appearance in 1995, the entire landscape of the NFL has transformed. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady's Patriots won 6 Super Bowls. The Pittsburgh Steelers surpassed the Cowboys for the most Super Bowls in league history. The New England Patriots, once a laughingstock, built a 20-year dynasty. The Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl 3 times in 5 years. Even the Detroit Lions, long the symbol of NFL futility, have won a playoff game and appeared in an NFC Championship game during the Cowboys' drought. The Cowboys have watched from the sidelines as the NFL passed them by, their legacy simultaneously growing and fading with each passing year. Yet there is something uniquely American about the Cowboys' story, the belief that next year will be different. That past failures can be redeemed, that greatness is just one season away. In a results-oriented business, the Cowboys have become something else entirely, a phenomenon, a cultural touchstone, a conversation that transcends wins and losses. They represent the eternal tension between ambition and achievement, between brand and substance, between what is and what could have been. The final, haunting question is whether the Cowboys' legacy is ultimately one of greatness or failure. The answer is both. They are great as a business, as a brand, as a cultural force. They are a letdown as a football team, as a championship contender, as the standard-bearers of their own glorious history. They are the paradox of modern sports, proof that success can be measured in different currencies, and that sometimes the most compelling story isn't about winning or losing, but about the vast, fascinating, and endlessly entertaining territory in between. The Cowboys continue their quest, forever chasing the ghosts of their own past, forever standing at the intersection of legend and letdown. And America continues to watch, captivated not by what they are, but by what they might have been and what, against all odds, they might still become. In the end, the Dallas Cowboys are America's greatest letdown, precisely because they were once America's team. And in the space between those two identities lies one of the most compelling dramas in all of sports.